Hi everybody, Dan Oman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets.
Hi everyone, David Aragona here, taking a look at the Grade 3 Vagrancy Handicap on Saturday at Aqueduct, one of 5 graded stakes races on that 11 race card on Saturday. This will be the first one that they run, race 3 of 11. This is a $150,000 race going 6.5 furlongs for the fillies and mares on the main track. Just a field of 5 signed on, and I think we're going to have a pretty heavy favorite in the number 5, Bella Sophia. You can see I listed her at 4 to 5 on the morning line. She is last year's Grade 1 test winner, went off as the second choice in the wagering in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint last year. Not so successful in that race, finishing just off the board, but she was put on the shelf after that, now making her 4-year-old debut here in this Vagrancy. And she's drawn well on the outside for a horse with speed, a little bit of speed to her inside, and we can take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for these 5 runners, 2 of them likely to go forward, one of those being Bella Sophia, the number 5, Miss Brazil, the number 4. She is the other horse that's likely to vie for the early lead to the inside of Bella Sophia. She does her best running when she is on the engine. So I would imagine these two will share the lead in the early going. We'll see how fast they go up front. The Timeform US pace projector not predicting a fast pace or anything like that with just 5 horses signed on. And there's no real closer in the field. Even the number 1, Assertive Style, who's shown towards the back of the pack. She's more of a stalking type herself. So I don't think this is one that projects to be one from the back of the pack. Speaking of Bella Sophia, let's take a look at her victory 2-back, the last race that she won in the Gallant Bloom Handicap at Belmont Park in September. It's a pretty similar situation to this Vagrancy, going the 6.5 furlong distance handicap conditions, and you can see she is just much the best this day. She's drawing off from a pretty good horse in Lady Rockette, who checked in second, far ahead of Lake Avenue, the other horse that took the money in this Gallant Bloom, who finishes a distant third. And this really confirmed that score that Bella Sophia had put forth in the test over the summer. She backed it up with another big speed figure. And as I said earlier, she went into that Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint with some credentials to be the main rival to Gamine that day. But both of those horses who took the money in the Breeders' Cup went down to defeat as CC caused the minor upset there. Bella Sophia earned some big speed figures last summer into the fall. You see the 124 that she got for that replay that we just showed in the Gallant Bloom. That number, if she was able to repeat it off the bench, would make her pretty tough to beat in here, because the other rivals, the 4 of them, have not really approached that kind of speed figure in the 120s. But Bella Sophia, as I said, she's coming off the long layoff, hasn't been seen in over 6 months. Rudy Rodriguez has just decent numbers with this kind of move, so we'll see if she's ready to fire her best shot. Even if she's not, she could get the job done. But at a short price, you might want to look at some other options. One of the other horses who could take money in this Vagrancy is the number 2, Frank's Rockette. Let's take a look at her last race when she was second as the 1-2 favorite in the Carousel at Oaklawn Park. That is her splitting horses at the top of the stretch coming on through. Briefly looked like she had dead aim on the leader and was going to win this race as the heavy favorite, but you can see she just kind of hangs a little bit in the late stages. That 6-1 shot, the gray filly that's on the front end, she's going to be able to hold her off as they come onto the wire. And personally, I've just seen this a few too many times from Frank's Rockette. She often goes off at short prices. She won a lot of races earlier in her career, but over the past year or so, she's lost plenty of races when she goes off as the favorite. Bill Mott has run her out of town rather than in New York plenty of times. It feels like they've really tried to cherry pick some easier spots for her, and she hasn't been quite as successful as you would have hoped, as you can see from her past performances. She's coming in off 5 straight losses, and I don't think that she's faced a rival as good as Bella Sophia in most of those races. So I'm somewhat against Frank's Rockette here, and she is a horse, as I said, that often does take quite a bit of money. I think the main rival for Bella Sophia could be that other speed that I highlighted in the pace projector. That's the number 4, Miss Brazil. Let's take a look at her last race when she came back from the layoff at Aqueduct on April 22nd. Now, she got a great trip this day. She was the lone speed, got to the front end, was able to set controlled fractions, and draws off in the end. This was also a racetrack on April 22nd that was favoring runners that were forward and also down towards the inside. So she had a bit of a track bias working in her favor. And as you can see, when when they come onto the wire here, she gets a little bit leg weary, short and stride a little bit. The entire field is kind of coming at her at the end, but she did have this race won with about an eighth of a mile to go. So I'm not going to get too concerned about that, given that she was coming off a pretty substantial layoff last time. We hadn't seen her in about 9 months since she had finished fifth as one of the shorter prices in the victory ride. This is a filly that during her 3-year-old season, especially early in the first half of the year, had run some nice races. That 1:14 time formula speed figure that you see she posted going all the way back to that allowance win, going the same distance at Belmont last April, would make her pretty competitive here if Bella Sophia is not ready for her A effort off the layoff. And I think that Miss Brazil is one of these horses that could take a step forward, because Tony Dutrow, when he brings horses back off layoffs, doesn't always have them cranked up. He is the kind of old school trainer that likes to give horses a prep before getting them to run their A efforts second off the layoff. So I think that Miss Brazil could take that step forward, and I do believe that she'll be able to secure the front end in this race. One other horse that you might want to take a look at is the number 3, Kept Waiting. I've got her as the 4th choice on the morning line. Just a horse that has really been in great form lately. She's won 3 of her last 4 starts. Just went down to defeat in the DRF Handicap last time, but ran a career best time formula speed figure of 1:17 that day. The winner of that race, Glass Ceiling, is in great form right now. I guess her trainer, Charlton Baker, decided to skip this spot in the Vagrancy to rest her up for some races during the summer. But Kept Waiting was a good second that day, and if she repeats that kind of number, she is not out of the mix here. I just think where she was setting a slow pace that day, she's probably going to have to revert to stalking tactics, because the 2 fillies to her outside, Miss Brazil and Bella Sophia, are just a bit faster in the early going. Let's throw out my picks for this race, and I did put that number 4, Miss Brazil, on top. I've got her pegged at 3-1 on the morning line. I think that would be a fair price on her. It does feel like Bella Sophia is going to go off at a pretty short price. Not against Bella Sophia, just didn't want to take her at odds on coming off the long layoff, but she is the horse with the best credentials coming in here. So it's going to be number 4, Miss Brazil, for me in the Vagrancy Handicap on Saturday at Belmont Park.